Hi everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial with me, Candy or Candice. And today I want to show you guys how to make memo pads, and I'm going to be demonstrating this with my #1 seller memo pad, even though it's not Halloween, but everyone loves this little guy. But if you're returning, thanks so much for being here, and if you are new, well, hello, hi, I am Candy, and this is a place where I like to take you guys on my art adventures or have DIYs / Etsy business series, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I make my very popular, adorable memo pads today. So first things first, you need to get a new canvas, and I use Procreate if you guys didn't notice. And what we're going to be using for this one is the square one right here. That is the one we are going to be using, but I have already made this. So again, look for ideas, make an idea room on Pinterest, grab things that you would like to see on a memo pad and go nuts. Now, the one that we are going to be creating together is this cute guy here. Here he is in all of his majestic glory. I thought to myself one day that I wanted a adorable little pumpkin and have a little moon with it, and I thought this would be great as a Halloween thing to add, a Halloween supplement to my Etsy shop, but lo and behold, it is now April, and this guy is still my #1 seller when it comes to my memo pads. So come up with your idea. I always like to have everything on separate layers and all that good stuff, but once you're finished that, airdrop it or email it to yourself, and we're going to be bringing it into Photoshop next. So make sure to jot down all of the information here for your canvas. Now, once you've brought in the individual sticker or individual memo pad, sorry, I'm used to making stickers, what you want to do is make this new canvas size according to what I have here for the resolution and the document size. And what all you're going to want to be doing is adding in all of the individual memo pads. So once you bring in one, the easiest way to duplicate this is if you hold Alt and bring another one forward, and you're just gonna keep doing this. So you can select both of them, hold Alt, and slide the other ones over. You want to have a little bit of a space between everything, but you don't really need to go nuts with that. So here are all of my memo pads. I also ended up bringing in one of my other templates as a guide, a rough guide for where I wanted all of these particular memos to sit. And that being said, make sure you save, and what you're going to want to do is export this as a PNG so that we don't have to worry about the background. And as you can see, I have a whole bunch of other memo pads here and other designs, so have fun, and let's bring this into the Cricut design space. So here is my stickers, or my memo pad. We're going to bring that in. We want this to be complex. You can zoom out here and also hit preview to see what this is going to look like when it is printed. Hit continue, print then cut, and then you can upload it into the canvas. All you want to do here is bring in your memo pads, and what you can do here is just resize it according to what I have up here. So the height is 6.128 and the width is 9.25. You can also see what this looks like by hitting make it, and you can see how it's going to fill up the page. Now, I like to have 6 pieces to a page, of course, and I also like to double this by 3 so that, you know, there's a decent number of memos for, you know, each memo pack. Then we're going to hit continue. Now this is where things differ slightly from what we've done in the past while making stickers. So when we send to printer, you want to add a bleed. This is very important so that we have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to actually printing off your paper. So make sure everything else, all the other information should be exactly the same. And I'm printing this off just on regular paper. And yeah, so print it off. I'm also going to show you how to make cute little bands. So that's what we're going to do next, since we're still at the computer, and we're going to send this to the printer and it will be printing behind us while we work on the cute little bands. See you in a second. Once these are printed, I just use regular copy paper because this is on regular paper, so no need to mess around with your material settings, just leave it as paper. Now it's time to move on to talking about the bands. I like to add a little bit something extra when I am producing my own memo pads, just because I feel that having a little band around it, one, is less wasteful than using a cello bag, and two, adds just a little bit more professionalism to your work. So this is definitely an optional step that you guys don't have to follow. And because it's paper, and because I also use washi tape to hold on the backing, everything is recyclable. What I started with was starting a new file in my Procreate app, and honestly, what it began with was just my business and memo pad. So if we took away all of the other embellishments, this is literally what I had. Excuse these little marks. So this is something that you can use over and over and over again in your products, because you can easily switch them out depending on a seasonal rotation. So I will show you guys, this is what my little memo pad binder looks like here. Then I adjusted it for Christmas. As you can see, we got a little Yule log, cute little guys here. And then I also adjusted it for Valentine's Day. Do you see how all of them are generally the same when it comes to the actual information, but the imagery has changed slightly? That's because I've made it very, very easy to adjust all of these, but still keep the general theme the same so that everything is very cohesive. So with the imagery, that's totally up to you and what you decide to add to it. So I ended up just reusing some of my sticker illustrations that I used for some of my other sticker sheets. So that's why I have a cute little scarf and a leaf, and then also a little pumpkin. So generally I've kept them to always having 3 different designs. Then from here, we can always adjust anything else that we have here. So I didn't like the little squiggles that I added because I felt that they weren't as nice. I literally just made a new layer. Filled it with the yellow color. Honestly, it could be any color you want. And then I said, so these little embellishments here, I want them to change color. So literally all I did was I turned on my fill layer, and then I just clicked on the layer and said create clipping mask, and that's how all of these little embellishments have changed color. I also did the same thing with the little inserted little border around my business name, and that is how I ended up changing the color here. And honestly, that's all there was to it. If I wanted to also change my user... My cat's meowing, I am so sorry, but I also wanted to change what all of this had here as well, because I didn't like this color, because this was for the Christmas one. So what I did is I changed this by, let me unlocking it so I can show you. Literally all I did was add in a couple little brush strokes of the different colors I wanted, and I always like to have the middle color to be slightly different, and then I created a clipping mask, and boom, that's all there is to it. Honestly, clipping masks are your best friend, so definitely try them out, have some fun with it. If anything with this was unclear, definitely let me know, but honestly, it's a lot of trial and error in figuring out colors and clipping masks. That's literally it. From here, you're going to want to add it to a full scap of paper so that we can make these into cute little strips, because this is very economical as well. So here is one of the other designs I made for Valentine's Day. I would suggest grabbing all your layers and merging them. So that's just right clicking once you've highlighted all of them, and making sure that your background layer is on a separate layer so that we don't have to worry about our image being stuck to it. And then from here, all I literally did was bring it into a 8.5 by 11. So I will show this to you, my image size here. And again, you want your resolution to be at 300. So this is the information you need. And let me just add in another layer. Let's make this white. Oopsies. So literally at this point, I just grabbed my image and shrunk it down, and you want to shrink it down to something that you feel is reasonable. That looks about right to me. You want to have it pretty much as dead center as you can possibly do it, and then from here you're just going to be duplicating this and bringing it down and keeping it as centered as you possibly can, and keep doing that until you have something that looks like this. Then all you need to do is print it off. Then you have 7 cute little belts, and you don't have to worry about waste. I couldn't fit any more here just because of the size that I wanted. I didn't want to go smaller than what I have here, but this is definitely a fun little extra optional step that you can add to make your memo pads pop. Let's get everything printed, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Alright, so here are my memo pads already printed, and I always like to have a couple on the go, so that's why an extra one is down below. But all you got to do is put it in the Cricut design or the Cricut Maker and let it do its thing. Keep in mind this goes extremely fast, so by the time you take off one set of memos, then it's ready for, it will already have printed another set, and then you can just keep the ball rolling. It is a very fast process because you're not making stickers. I like to have a little backing for all of these, and they're just reusable cardstock, and I have little clips as well, and you need some Elmer's glue. A lot of people end up asking me what kind of glue you need, and literally it's just normal white glue. From here, I'm just going to show you how I end up cutting these perfectly, because I can't cut to save myself, so I like to use one of these little nifty handy cutter things, and the size of this is a 3x3 when it is all said and done, so just make sure you have the right size. I always end up keeping a template on hand, and then I just go ahead and cut it. Now, once it is printed, you can pull off the top, and as you can see, that is the bleed. So that is why you want a little bit of extra bleed, just in case if your Cricut doesn't end up cutting exactly perfectly. I have this little nifty tool to help me lift off my memos so that it stays nice and flat, but you don't need this. You can also just, as you can see, I'm pulling it off the bottom there, and you just want to pull on the bottom and you'll be able to have your paper lift right off. So just be careful and be mindful of when you're pulling off your memos. And here are all the memos ready to go. So I always like to check, because sometimes this becomes a problem, to make sure everything is facing the right way. And then from there, I like to just make sure that everything is nice and square. So that is what I am doing at the moment. From there, I like to always have a little bit of extra of the cardstock backing, and that is so that when I use my little clips here, that it actually doesn't damage the actual front memo pad, because I've had that be a problem in the past. So just make sure you have it all held in place and everything looks all right. So first and foremost, I like to just put clips on the ends, and then eventually I will put a clip in the middle. But this is the process where you actually do want to take your time and make sure you do a good job lining everything up, because this is the moment of truth. From there, you want to take your Elmer's glue. Some people do this with a paintbrush, but I don't want to dirty a paintbrush, so literally I just squeeze a small amount of the Elmer's glue on the very top of my memos. I usually like to do a double squirt, so what that means is I'll put some on, let it dry, and then I'll do another run on top of that just to make sure everything is nice and secure. So I as you can see, just take your time, do a nice little run, a little bead of your glue, and sometimes I'll straighten it out with my finger if needed, have a little tissue close by. Then I will add in another little bit of cardstock, and then another clip, and then I will leave this to dry. Once you are done, you can take off your cardstock and your little clips. After the second run, I like to take off the top piece there just so that it's a little bit easier to dry. And now we're going to be putting on the little belts. So this is what the finished belt looks like. And I will just wrap it around and then take a little bit of washi tape here. Add it on. And there is your little cute finished memo pads with the little washi tape. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you got this far, put a little jack-o'-lantern or pumpkin in the comment section below. Let me know what kind of DIY you guys would like me to do in the future, and if you found this video helpful. Bye everyone!